a lot of artists are complaining about not having the support of people who would come and invest in their art. And understand, when you don't have money and you don't even know how it works, and you just want to sing, so you need people to pay for the beats, you need people to pay for the studio, you need people to pay for the distribution, you need to be somebody to pay for the music video, somebody to pay for the promo and to put everything in the radio, somebody to have a network of all these things. If you're 15, 16, 17 years old, it's completely normal that you need to have somebody to take your hand. But what makes the difference between a career like mine and a career like anybody else, a lot of others, is the ambition and the motivation. Those people have no ambition and no motivation, so they don't have stamina, because they don't understand that, listen, my first album, I didn't invest in it. I didn't invest in the plane tickets, etc., to go there, to go in South America, live there. And I will always be thankful to Jean-Claude Tinoé for taking me and bringing me from France, taking me to South America in Cayenne, Guyane, and stay there for a whole year in his house and go in the studio with Edouard Sinclair and record with Marc Béhari in Cayenne and record my whole album. I had no idea how much it cost. I was just making my art, and it was amazing. And by the third album, I had a partner, and we were doing 50-50. By the fourth album, I was paying my studio by myself, paying my engineer by myself, and still just having somebody to take care of distribution and everything. And I was like, okay, how much to record? Bro, I'm gonna need 5,000 to record in my studio and do all the engineering, etc., etc. Where's your studio? Oh, it's in my house. Your house? Interesting. Okay, let me go there. Arrived there. First thing I did, Pro Tools, this microphone, these things, that thing. Interesting. Taking notes. Record for a few months, and at the same time take notes. Look at the plugins he's using, etc., etc. And then I went to the store, and I was like, okay, how much to buy all these things? And the store owner told me, you're gonna need the computer is this, the microphone. Okay, you need at least 7,000 to 8,000. Okay, interesting. So you know what I did? I told my manager, listen, for every show that I do, you remove 800. This is my rent. For every show that I do, you remove 1,000. And after that, you give me my money. So let's say I do, let's say I got paid 2,000 per show. The first show I did, she would remove 800, and she would take her part. She would take her percentage, 500. So she would remove 800 and only give me nothing, because she would actually remove everything. She would remove 1,005. So she would move 800 plus another 700. The next show I do, she would remove 300 and give me the rest. And I would tell her, don't give me, just give me the money for my rent, and everything else, every time we do a little bit of shows, remove 1,000 and give me 500. And we did that for the next 10 shows. So first show, pay my rent, and then had nothing. Every other show, she would remove 1,000 and I would have 500. every show like this. And hey, listen, I was fine. I was doing 2 shows a week, 3 shows sometimes. So pam, 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 pam. Once I had 10,000, she told me, yeah, listen, I have 10,000 on the side for you. What you want me to do with it? And I was like, bring me everything. So, and now you can start paying me normal from the shows. Good. I went to the stores. I went to the store, the music store, with my 10,000. Bam! All right. I need this Mac, this screen, this microphone, this program, these plugins, these sample CDs, everything. And by album number 5, my bro Kynix told me, hey, you recording your album in my house? I said, no, I'm recording in my house. What? Yep. And I started recording by myself. So from album number 1, I was dependent on people. And when I arrived at album number 5, so album number 1 was 1998. Number 2 was 1999. Number 3 was 2003. Number 4 was 2004, and 2006. So, in the span of all these years, 8 years, I went from being completely dependent from people to being completely independent. And with the money I made from album number 6, I bought the masters of album number 1 and 2. And then I own all my stuff. And then I got 100% of the copyright from everything. Because that was my whole business plan from the get-go. And motivation is the currency. Motivation is what makes the difference between people who put all their energy in that first single trying to be famous, and people who like just, listen, I will do songs and songs and songs and songs and songs until I have so many songs that I'm making money as I'm sleeping. Because listen, a hit lasts a year. Listen, today, with this generation of people who are all like Nemo and forget everything in 5 minutes, a hit will last you, a month. Well, listen, I'm not the good example because my hits have been lasting for 20 years and okay. My TikTok trend is 3 years now. So I'm the wrong example. But most people, they love a song and then there's too many songs. So they forget about the next song quick. So what you need is to understand, how do I survive in this music industry and how do I survive for a long time? And the only thing you have to do is to have enough stamina and enough motivation to not abandon after your first song or after your first 10 songs. You have to keep going. And most people, they don't keep going. They end up abandoning ship quickly. First song usually. Second song sometime. First album or whatever. Listen. I started performing for free in 1992. 32 years ago. And between 1992 and 1996, I was performing for free in every party, everywhere. I was doing freestyles. I was building money for free. We take the subway, arrive at the party, perform, and then move. Sometimes we would do an afternoon freestyle, then a party at night, then a party in the morning, etc., etc. Then we would go to Le Bandouche and talk to David Guetta and say, yo, can we freestyle? And he would let us freestyle. And we were building our name in the French underground scene and the different scenes in France. And by the time I met Jean-Michel Rotin, that's when I started dancing and performing in his show. And at the same time, I was doing my own shows. And I was getting paid something like, it was in francs back then, so something like 100 euro, 100 euros per show. And I was using that money to make tattoos, actually. But at the same time, I was building my name in the West Indies. So when my album came out, everybody knew who I was, because I was performing in the last 2 years with Jean-Michel Rotin, and I was jumping in the crowd, and I was making his show better than the show was before. So by the time I arrived with my solo album, I had a crowd waiting for me in the West Indies. So this is 6 years of building, from 92 to 98. And a lot of people believe that I arrive out of nowhere. No. You don't see what has been brewing in the dark. You only see the results. And this makes the big difference. So by the time I released my first album, the first thing I do was send letters everywhere in the world with my CDs. And today, I have an international career. And listen, I could just chill and count my money. But no, because I'm a motivated person. Because I understand that the motivation is my currency. I'm always motivated to do new songs. Always motivated to try new stuff. Always motivated to try new genres. And to continue kicking the door. And listen, I've been so successful that I could say, okay, I'm good. But no, there's always the next level. I remember when I was telling Bodhisattva a few years ago, when we were watching our Spotify for artists, and we were watching how many people were listening to us in the world. I was like, yo, listen, I have 50,000 people listening to me every month. This is crazy. 50,000 people. Can you imagine 50,000 people? And then after that, I was like, yo, my goal is to reach 100,000 people that listen to me every month. That would be crazy. This is more than the number of CDs I sold on my first album. 100,000 people listening to me every month. That would be so cool. Then I arrived to 150,000 people. And it was like, hey, that's crazy. And I was like, yeah, my next goal is 2,050,000 people listening to me every month. And he was telling me, bro, those are numbers. And I was like, yo, listen, 250,000 people listening to me every month is the next goal. And by 2016, 17, I arrived there on Spotify. Then I said, okay, next stop, 500,000 people. And then I did the Havana Bossa Nova remix, skyrocketed me to 500,000 people. And then I was like, yo, listen, I'm dreaming maybe one day of 750. And by 2021, something going on blew up. And now I have 1.3 million people listening to me every month. And listen, I could say, I arrived. No, I now want 3 million people. And after 3, I want 5. And after 5, I want 10. Because I know exactly how much money it generates. And I know exactly what I'm going to do with that money. How I'm going to invest it and in what. And this makes the difference between my motivation and most of the singers' motivation. Most of them, they are motivated first by being heard, existing. Once they exist and they are in the light, they get blindsided by the light. They just want to stay in the light, stay famous. Me, listen, I never lost my objectives. My objective is after, next level. I don't care about the light. I care about the building of what I do. And once I do a pyramid, I do another one, another one, another one. Once you've seen 100 pyramids, you realize it's a spaceship. Once the spaceship is built, we're going to Mars. And this is the difference.